It is the second Techfellows meetup. Let's see if our clicker works. It seems it does. I guess I owe a bit of an introduction. So here is a three line slide about me. You are sadly you will sadly have to suffer the evening through with me today. My name is Marek. People call me Mr. Shu. I listen to Hey You. Don't worry about pronunciation. I currently happen to be principal data engineer at Slido, which now turns out to be Cisco. If you'd like to learn more about what this does, or like what this job profile and or job actually is, feel free to ask, but probably not me. I also still teach at the Comenius University, and somehow I made it to this Techfellows thing. So I guess I should tell you at least 3 sentences about what it is. Do I? No. Okay. Techfellows a sort of aims to be a tech leadership community, effectively a group of people who are trying to share knowledge, share their experience, and are trying to see if there's if there's a possibility to build good teams, good engineering teams within the, I guess let's call it Central European area, and by extension, then build great products, which by extension will make the world we live in a bit better place. Among other things, the Techfellows also organize these meetups. So if you want to collab or something, because there's gonna be free beer or pizza, now is the time. Cool. Well, I mean, you don't bump all the jokes normally, so let me try again. Since I'm not a really good MC or anything, we'll be using this thing we got for free. It's called Slido, and we'll be using that for various things tonight. First and foremost, and most importantly, to ask our speakers a couple of questions, but also to interact with you as the audience. So if I may ask you to go to slido.com, and it's going to ask you for a code. You don't have to install anything, and these things, as they told us on the onboarding. But like if it's ask you for a code, put in Techfellows, and in there you should there be able to see things like that. Something that I would also be very interested in. So why did you come here today? What is your sort of the primary impetus for your visit to Nova Cvernovka? I guess is where we are. Very cool. We can see some people typing in. I guess I hope strongly that even people online can join us. The code on Slido again is Techfellows. It should be fairly easy to fill it in. We have about, I don't know, 30 people in the room. I'm not sure how many people are online, but hopefully about the same number. So I guess let's wait at least for three more responses. Or will I have to submit them myself? Hopefully not. All right, cool. In any case, it seems like we have many people interested in what these high performing teams really are, and how to build them, or even like to see if the team that we are currently in would actually be called high performing. And yeah, there are people who are here for free pizza and beer, which is obviously also, but also some sort of makes sense. Awesome. But if you choose any of the top 3 options, I guess you are in luck, because we have 3 presenters tonight who will go through exactly those topics from both the managerial as well as from the in the trenches point of view, and then hopefully we'll also get a wrap up on the sort of via negativa side, like what things not to do if what you want to get on the output is actually a high performing team. Cool. I guess I was told to sort of give you a couple of housekeeping reminders. The first one being that the toilets are that way, fire exits that way and that way. And for anything else, if you have a question, go ask these people who have these sort of clouds on their shirts, which is, as you can see, not me. Very cool. I was also asked to I was also told there is some merch. There are some some things you can win, ladies and gentlemen, if you end up interacting with this Slido thing. So here's what I think we'll do. Let's try it straight up. We'll have 5 questions spread throughout. And if you'd like to win something, please join the quiz. Type in your name, a name we can then identify you by, preferably. And last time we got like 22 responses, so let's see if we can get at least 22 people to sign in. And we'll have a couple of, to start us off, we'll have 1 question, and we'll see where that gets us. Oh. Lubo, what's this? Come on, don't tell me. Come on. Come on, and do we sell this? You know. All right. The team is very high performing. The software, it's a different question. Good. So once again, 21 people in. Fair enough. Let's try. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure what the glitch was. I'm very sorry. Anyhow, with 22 people in, let's try the very first question. You have about 20 seconds to answer. And the question is, which internet company was first called Cadabra? And there is a whole slew of answers that would be possible. Remember both the correct answer as well as the time you take to pick the correct answer counts. All right. Well, many of you picked the W. Many of you also went to eBay and Google, but I can tell you it actually was Amazon. It is. Jeff Bezos did really think that Cadabra would be a good name for his company, as in Avada Kedavra, you know, like that sort of a thing. He was persuaded in the very end, at least so the story goes, to not really do that because, like, you know, try to say Cadabra via a phone or something like that. It doesn't really work. Amazon also owns relentless.com, which tells you about the culture and things like that. But what's more important is that even if you didn't get it this time around, don't worry, there's going to be 4 more questions. And if you end up getting a couple of them correct, you might even win some Techfellows swag, which I didn't, for instance, get. So, like, make of that what you will. In any case, that's gonna be enough for me because we have our first speaker here, and I would like to. This thing. All right. So as you can see, we have quite a few people who got it right, and in 4 seconds, that's a pretty good result. We'll see what that looks like. What it looks like next time. And this is not my slide, so let me introduce. Well, let me simply pass the mic to our first speaker, who will tell us a bit about what these high-performing teams actually are all about. Give it up for Marian, please.
Thank you, guys. And once again, thanks for having me here. I'm Marian. And there will be some couple of slides about me, but nevertheless, there's one important thing to say. I did some spoiler alert on my LinkedIn profile. Nevertheless, can anybody guess what this picture represents? Going 3, 2, 1. We see a mister here. Drinking barrel beer, which shouldn't be a problem. So the question is what this picture might represent. Yeah, so we have a apocalypse option. Chaos, close enough. The government, wow, especially the Slovak one, I like that. Okay, without no further ado, that's what the DALI generated for me when I was putting this sort of question to it. So according to the AI, this is the exact representation of high-performing teams. Voila. So from now on, you know how it looks. Therefore, we see how and where to head towards to. And that's roughly it. And the conversation might be over, right? Nevertheless, let's move things forward. So just a couple of things about me. Basically, inside of my mind, I'm still a developer doing some kind of a pet project still. Started coding at age of 11. Going through a typical path of yours might be, going through some software engineer up to a team lead, to a software architect, to a head of development and VP in engineering roles and so on and so forth. And these days, what I do is that after I succeeded in a couple of companies, I provide some sort of mentoring, and that's what I love doing throughout the jobs. Basically, the mission is to enable the right companies in Central and Eastern Europe to help them grow and basically achieve their mission. The way how I do it is that imagine my week where I basically designate 2 days of a week to do some mentoring, and I have up to 20 different people to mentor from different positions, from team leads up to CTOs. And the rest of the 2 days there are for advisory, being some sort of fractional CTO in some of the companies that are over here. And the very last day, that's my day. Which is not really happening, to be honest. I'm supposed to be working on my brand and doing some sport, but guess what's happening? There is not so much time to go through that. So that's one of the things, and the reason why we are talking here. And again, thanks for Lubo and all the guys who are organizing this event, is about the high-performing teams. And I'm going to tell you about more about my journey. It's not going to be some theories, some book that I'm usually selling throughout the mentoring. I'm going to talk about the practice. Okay, so let's kick things off. One of the examples is Muse. Maybe you've heard about the company. That's the company that recently gained this sort of pot of money in the Series C. It's a pretty great success, I have to say. And I was able to witness that at one of the senior roles, making sure that we grow the company after COVID or throughout the COVID from dozens to hundreds. And that was a hell of a journey. And of course, without building the high-performing teams, we wouldn't be able to raise this pot of money. That's very simple. You need to make sure that investors trust you, that you have the right people on spot, that your teams, and I ended up with almost 30 teams reporting to me. Majority of them are highly performing. So let's talk about it, how we can come up to this sort of state, and how things might move forward. And again, not forget about the motivation. The motivation of making these your teams being highly performant is that actually it's not about raising the Series C that can pay off for the rest of your life, but it's also important to say that it gives you a competitive advantage, because each and every company, even the company that you are working in, has some sort of competition. And there is a big difference. If you have these sort of high-performing teams, then you can basically crush them off. That's very simple to say. And I was physically witnessing that. So basically, sorry for the E here. But what we will be talking about, I'm going to tell you a story, basically. First of all, the main point is how are we going to define the high-performing teams, and of course we can have a never-ending discussion on a beer table about what that might mean, the nuances and the details. Then we will move to how to cultivate these teams, how to make them work, and don't forget, it's you might have these teams on that spot for some spot of time. But the ultimate question is how to make them there being persistent, how to sustain that in the environment that is provided to you. So the sustainment team, making them they're being persistent, that's something that many people don't, I would say, think about. And I'm going to show you the real representation of making that work. Again, I was before basically Uber invited me to this meetup. I was thinking, like, how am I gonna make my slides to make it the most meaningful way, the least painful way. So basically, I asked the ever knowledgeable ChatGPT about giving me some detailed manual about how to cultivate the high-performing teams. And by the way, you can see there's a, especially to you who have a sort of good side, is that, it's pretty accurate, I would say, right? So establishing the goals and expectation, hiring the right people, getting the regular feedback, foster a positive team culture, having the great level of collaboration, and provide the opportunities for growth and development. That's nice. We can do that. No problem. I would say, in my experience, I think Lubo can second that, and we are not the only ones being senior engineers here. When you enter a new company, it takes you something about half a year to gain the full trust, to understand the culture, to understand the environment. And then it takes something about a year up to 2 years to grow the teams and elevate them to be really highly performing. Not all of them, of course, but I would say majority of those. So we are roughly 2 years, right? So that's what we do. Is there a better way? Is there a faster way to make that work? This must be right. And this is the picture. So I'm not going to spell you with the very same question, but the question I was asking is, give me the painting of how to cultivate high-performing teams. So I'm thinking of, just please stare on this image for 30 seconds and maybe we'll get there. And I'm going to ask my teams to replace their stand-ups by staring at this very same picture until their eyes going to bleed. And maybe we'll get there much faster. Who knows? But I like this picture, I have to say. It sort of represents some chaos, exactly as you mentioned. So back to Earth. This is the cat, yet another picture where I was asking how to come back to Earth, being curious as a cat. And the reason why is that I really want to make sure that, we don't have such powerful AI yet to make us all highly performing. So let's come back to our roots and start talking in practice. So basically, the way I was thinking about it is really to represent the journey. And I know that this is a very small footprint or, writing that you can barely read. But this is basically the manual that I experienced and I used in other companies. So if you allow me, I will very gladly guide you through all of these things all together. Starting with the first one, as you can see, so what's the definition of the high-performing teams? And of course, many different people have different opinions about it. By the way, slides will be available. You don't need to take pictures right away. To me, the most important thing is to make sure that the teams basically own their destiny, own their trust, own their success, and the ownership, right? And usually here I'm telling a story which I experience sometimes, and you might experience that as well, meaning imagine having a senior CTO who's saying, so from now on you are baptized, you are fully empowered, you are autonomous, you are, how's that called? Cross-functional, right? While at the same time, the very same guy is coming to you and he says, but this given quarter, you will fucking work on this one, right? He's not going to ask you the questions about, give me your opinion about what do you think might be the most useful way how to contribute to the goals of the company. This is what you're going to do, right? So where's the autonomy? Tell me. So that's about the ownership, and we'll talk about it more and more. Of course, we can tackle the delivery, of course, because without the delivery, we can have whatever talent in the room, but without actually delivering the outcomes that we plan, the teams won't be successful, and the teams won't be existing, right? And the second thing, if you want to keep these teams existing, you need to make sure that there's a decent level of expertise. Might be the technical expertise, might be the domain expertise from the right people, knowing the business and the technologies, right? So I just wanted to make it very simplistic, and in my opinion, and we can again argue about it while having a beer over there. What might be the other attributes to make these things work? So now on, let's move to basically how to cultivate, because before by the definition, we sort of covered some sort of a principles, if I may put it this way. And now let's put it more in practice. Basically, by cultivating the team, and again, I'm going to read that for you, no worries. I made it explicitly small, so it's only me reading that, so you can just listen. Is that if we stay in the square of owning the trust and cultivating that, that's the very same thing that we just mentioned recently, meaning the teams need to own their success. They need to own their roadmap. Basically, what you as a senior manager should be saying people is that the roadmap is not set in stone, right? Please come up with your own roadmap, because the roadmap is just a representation of your tactics, how you want to achieve your goal. So basically, if you experience, again, as I was saying, a CTO or your former manager or telling you what are the tasks that you need to be supposed to be working on, maybe you are not in the right company. Or eventually you can manage him up or manage them up and trying to change their perception. So this one is really powerful. And to be more practical, and that might be some of the things to remember for you, is that we created a rule about to make this work. The rule is called the team decides, and are the ultimate decider what's about the priorities on their roadmap. Meaning, me, the CTO, the CEO, the founder of the company, we are only stakeholders, regardless the hierarchy, coming with our suggestions, with our, let's say, opportunities. Of course, we are lobbying quite hardly about our cause, but it is the team who makes the decision, not us, right? So think of it as one of the initial steps how to make this work. Stop talking about autonomy if you don't do that. The second thing, if you still keep the ownership element of that, is moving from cultivating to start sustaining the ownership and the trust of the team. So here's the other advice, the practical advice, which is I'm asking all my teams to write down their purpose. Why do they exist? You can have that written down in your knowledge base, might be a Confluence, Notion, Google.com, whatever that is. But basically, that gives the teams the signal that this is why we exist, this is why we are getting paid, and this is the mission that we are helping the company to achieve. And this is our purpose and the way how we do that. It's pretty strong. You might consider that to be just some sort of wording, but it's not. The reason why is that actually it works a very, very nice way to, in a notion of if I'm asking my teams to work on something different, they say me to go home. Very nicely put. So that's one of the things, because we really want them to keep their domain knowledge, keep their focus, and make sure that they work on what's important to them. Without that, you are losing the domain knowledge, basically. The second thing, still in the context of the ownership, what really helps is to make sure that you have the right discovery funnel. What I mean by the discovery, of course, we have the delivery. We are mostly the developers here, but consider the other part of the other, or I would say even more important element of that group, which is product management and the guys who have set up the strategy and so on and so forth. So the product guys are responsible mostly for the discovery side of things, making sure that we are transparent about knowing what are the most valuable initiatives continuously throughout the journey. And that's very strong, because if I ask my teams to basically come up with the bottom-up approach, meaning I'm not saying them what they are supposed to be working on. I'm just asking them, please give me a proposal. What do you think might be the most influential ways or influential opportunities how to contribute to the current OKRs? And they are just looking into the opportunity backlog and adding more and more things into that. It might be not only the team, it might be the other stakeholders, it might be the external clients and so on and so forth. So the backlog is basically transparent, but they have it continuously managed quite well, continuously built on the same principles and valued quite well. So that's really powerful. So you can consider that being a matrix, right? So from the sideways, there are the initiatives coming and the opportunities, and from the upwards, there's the strategy and the OKRs. And it's pretty easy for the team then to come up with the most influential topics they wish or they propose to work on. So that is still the context of autonomy. And now, how do we measure the autonomy part, right? So I'm coming back to one of the things which we built in the company, and coming back to the principle of transparency. Basically, we said out loud what are the main indicators that define highly performing teams, and if these indicators are sort of broken, then you can't be considered to be highly performing. And it's transparent. It's not a secret. It's not a gut feeling. You're not highly performing because of, your product manager told me to, right? That's not fair, right? So coming back to the metrics, usually what I see in the companies that they forgot about closing the feedback loop, meaning we want to speed up the machine, the delivery process. But to be honest, the delivery guys, the developers, they do quite fine. The mistakes that we do mostly is that we put shit into into the machine, right? So what you put in, that's what you get. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that we measured the epics adoption rate, and that was basically, imagine that each and every epic is considered to be decided whether the epic finished in a successful stage, being a success meaning it really contributed positively to a customer, or it was just a neutral, we don't know, maybe it has to be evaluated, or it was simple waste. And we wanted to make sure that 65% at least of these initiatives or epics end up being successful, which is pretty bold aspiration. On the side note, you can't ask for 100%. Why? If you do that, then basically you're not allowing the product managers to experiment. They will end up copying the existing competitors. That's not what you want to get. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing that we are measuring is the engagement with, for example, with the customers. So Muse back then is still a hotelier company, and the system that runs the hotels. So what we were doing is that I was asking the teams to see them at least twice a year in different hotels with different customers, releasing their features there, getting stoned, getting drunk, getting feedback, fixing bugs again, whatever. But after a week, they come back. They know what's their purpose, and they really help the team, the mission, and making sure that they really feel how it feels from the customer side of things. So that was pretty strong. If you can do that, at least ask your teams to do customer interviews, if that's possible. Of course, I'm generalizing to some extent because it's very easy to do in B2C. In B2B, it's a bit harder to be very open with you. We all know it, but there are means to make it work. The last thing to mention is the employee NPS score. That's a hell of a good thing that many companies forget about. Basically, the question usually is how to measure your, I would say, things that can't be measurable. Your chemistry, your satisfaction with the company. Of course, we have some surveys running once per half year, but that's not enough. There are better ways, and I'm gonna skip some of the things for you just to make it visible. So that's one of the tools. I'm not gonna do the advertisement for that. That's one of the tools I experienced. Basically, the way how it works is that you are having this tool available across the whole company, and once per 2 weeks you will receive an email with approximately 5 questions. And all the companies fills it in. It's a question of 5 minutes, and these questions are sort of weighted throughout, the different domains about the relationship with the peers, the personal growth, satisfaction, alignment, happiness, recognition, the relationship with the manager. Usually, you want to get the main score is 7.9. You want to get something around 8. I consider that to be a great culture, right? So the score is from 0 to 10. If you have a score of 6, that's a good start. Right? But that's where you want to get. And what it does for you is basically when I see that I'm getting the score lower, might be because of, to be very specific, we all basically experienced the COVID era, right? So of course the wellness and the satisfaction went down. So we had to do something to make sure that it works. So instead of just waiting until the voting situation goes blasting, we got proactive into making that work because we saw the outcome right away. without the need of waiting for yet another half year for yet another whatever performance review, or how is that called. So coming back to what we were talking. So basically, what I was trying to sort of visualize is what were the key performance indicators for me, for my organization of more than 100 of people, making sure that most of the teams stay on the high performing line. So that's one of a third of the story. Of course, we have the delivery, and I'm going to speed my talk. The delivery is really important. Again, so you're saying we might be having a high-performing teams of a high talent, but if they don't work on the right things, then it's just a waste of their talent and of the capacity allocation, right? So what we need to make sure is that A, our teams are focused, and B, there is a strategy written down. And again, my practical experience tells me when I come into a company, I'm asking them just for a quick, let's say, catch up. So tell me, do you have a product strategy written down? It says quite a lot. If you don't have it, it's not a simple document. If you don't have it, again, your teams, and you might experience that, they go left, right, each and every quarter, there is something better, something more, and you are getting exhausted. The product strategy is a great mastership that you can refer to. For example, if there is a salesperson, where is Michel, the sales guy, or your founder or your CPO coming to your team and telling them, this is what you're going to do, then what you are supposed to be doing is just you check the product strategy and tell them to F off, right? If you want to change the mission and the vision of the company itself and the way how we want to achieve our goal, then please feel free to write the product strategy first, and only then let me know. So what I'm trying to say, the product strategy is here for us, is here to protect us. It's not some sort of a senior management bullshit that I used to refer as such when I was young and stupid. The second thing is be focus obsessed, and I experienced very well was working with some of the guys here at Innovatrix, and one of the things that we made for our teams was to make sure that we limit the work in progress on epic level, meaning each and every team was allowed to work on maximum 2 epics, 2 streams in parallel, not 3, not 5. You will get nothing out of it. Precisely 2. Because to be honest, there's always a third stream, which is fixing bugs and all the other stuff. The offer nothing. Just make yourself a rule to make sure that there is a certain level of focus. So usually how I'm talking about it is that the focus should be set up on each and every level. Basically, I don't want to see a developer working on more than 2 tasks in parallel that are open. I don't want to see a team working on more than 2 epics that are open or in progress. I don't want to see the whole unit or tribe working on more than 2 initiatives in parallel. And I don't want to see a company having more than 2 objectives with subsequent key results. That's a very strong thing. And again, visually what we can see there is that some of the companies, they introduce the OKRs, and what do they do? They just put all the initiatives, all the ideas together, and they say, so this is the list of the OKRs. It's a list of 20 items. Some of them are objectives, some of them are tasks, because there is nobody eventually who's able to say no to some of the things, and that's a very dangerous, I would say, work environments to be in. To be very specific, when we are talking about individual developers, I really physically avoid the situation of seeing people working on more than 2 items in progress. You might be tempted to have 2 items idle, dependent on something, waiting for something, for, I don't know, code review, testing, so let's put a third one. I'm saying no. Just think of it and try to look at the backlog or at what are the things in progress, and help the other guys unblock others. Help them close that code review, help them close that testing phase. Pair with them if you see that that specific ticket is in progress for more than, I would say, 5 days. There might be some things that you might be needing. You are attempting to reach that ticket from the backlog, still not a chance. Focus on the grooming. Prepare the grooming for your team. You want to reach that backlog still? That's time for that. Learn something. Read that blog post that you've been thinking of for the last 2 months that's in your pocketbook or whatever that is. That's what's going to be helpful for you and for the team, not yet another ticket. So that's how we should be talking about or thinking about the focus itself. So talking about the delivery, and to me what's really important is agility and quality. Of course, when we talk agility, there's thousands books already because it's a business. What agility is, it's a buzzword, of course. To me, agility is nothing more than the speed of the feedback loop. Nothing more than that. And we'll talk about it. Of course, quality, that's something that is quite known. We might be having a high-performing team, but if they deliver some of the things that are not really of high quality, I don't think we can call it high-performing. So to be more specific, if you can imagine that what I was measuring when it comes to agility, I wanted to make sure that the epics, the increments, and by definition epics, there were something that was supposed to last 1 month on average and is supposed to deliver a tangible value to the customer. And the 1 month average was there just to make sure that the teams deliver the value incrementally. It's a bit different from the deployment frequency. Of course, we had a deployment frequency of 2 windows per day. That's okay. But throughout this thing, I was able to make sure that there is an element of agility. I was never measuring tasks. I left the task up to the teams and the agile coaches. If you see a CTO going through the how's that called, the breakdown charts and throughputs, there is something wrong going on. They should be focused on the strategy instead. So what I'm trying to say, and there's a specific story behind it, is that you might be having a team that's, again, highly performing, and they are going dark for, let's say, 4 months. Then they come back, and they want to get celebrated because they deployed the feature. But what's usually happening after 4 months? There's a stakeholder coming back and saying, that's maybe not what we are supposed to see. The PM is saying, that's not what we've agreed upon. Plus, after you release it, there's a ton of bugs for it, another 2 sprints. You know how it feels. Don't lie to me. So basically, you wanna avoid the situation from happening, and that's the whole story about agility. And the second thing, and that's my yet another secret tip, is the RMC. I'm gonna be painful for you. That abbreviation stands for roadmap completion. And I wanted to make sure that my teams work on things that matter the most, meaning the roadmap. And I was measuring that. I wasn't, again, checking the tasks. I just wanted to make sure that they work on the right things. And it was fair enough for me. And again, the situation is you might be having a high-performing team, but if they work 60% of their time off roadmap, they're not going to be successful. I'm not going to shake their hand. Sorry to say that. So that's the agility. And again, quality, you might be very aware of the DORA metrics, meaning the change failure rate and the mean time to recovery. The change failure rate represents the ratio of the failed releases, basically the releases that are sort of defected and have to be reversed, usually throughout some feature flags. And the mean time to recovery, so that's the exact completion of that, meaning if we screwed up something, please tell me how much time it will take you to fix these things up and to root back. And again, we are back to the principle of agility. Last but not least, and again, I'm gonna go very quickly through the expertise, and you're saying that's the business expertise, so we want to have knowledgeable stakeholders, knowledgeable program managers in what we do, and we want to have knowledgeable tech people who are helping us achieving these goals from the technical aspect of things. Of course, don't forget, and I strongly disadvise that, is that you shouldn't be having a team full of the talent and highly performing people. That's a dangerous combination. It's great to mix that with some mid-level guys or optimally students. And here we were measuring, you might be considering having a team balance, making sure that the hiring and firing is there. And actually, the hiring and firing, it is the team who makes these decisions, not some sort of senior managers. You have the right career path. Matej will be talking more about the developer experience here right after. But the star over there is the learning. Usually the guys, the high-performing guys, they stay with you only if you provide them a way to learn and to improve their skills and their mastership. Practically speaking, ask yourself a question if in your company you have a Slack channel that is designated for all the communities, meaning backend, frontend, and you see that being live, meaning there is somebody who constantly contributes to these channels all the time. Is it yourself putting some top blog posts that you read? Is it yet another people who are contributing to that? That's very strong. The other thing is coming back to career paths. That comes back to individual development plans, right? So just making sure that people have targets to achieve and making sure that they really achieve that. The secret ingredient of that is that each and every direct manager should be asking at least once a month each of their reports where they stand in face of their performance development plans. If you don't do that, if we don't do that, we are basically giving them the message that we don't care. We don't care about how they progress, how you progress, right? And what's happening in that case? And I think I know we all experience that, including myself. Usually we have these half-year performance development plans or individual development plans, but we tend to start working on that just 2 weeks before the half year ends, right? That's the reality of things, right? If you don't do that, that's how things end up. So basically, again, coming to the indicators, when it comes to the expertise itself, we are measuring the brand, the awareness, the retention, for example, the amount of the ratio of completion for when it comes to individual development plans. And of course, development experience, again, I'm not going to touch on this one. There's going to be talk more in detail with Matej. So that's roughly it. And still we are talking, this one is practical, but we might be still talking theory. So again, going very quickly through some of the slides about how these reports looked in real. So the first one is the team level, when I was able to see, so imagine these are the rows of the teams, and I was able to see how successful these teams are when it comes to roadmap completion, to sprint completion. When it comes to roadmap contribution, how much they are supposed to deliver, at least 50, they should be working constantly at least 50% towards their roadmap, for example. And of course, the cycle time. Maybe you might be having the cycle time 10 days or more. Usually I would recommend having that around 5 days. Again, real quickly, that's yet another example of the report where I was able to see how much of our talent we spent on given initiatives and on given pieces of things that matter the most. Meaning, I just wanted to make sure that all the department and cascading that down, the exact teams are able to spend most of their time on the product. There might be certain piece of the technical roadmap as well. And just please make sure that the off-roadmap piece is fairly small, 20 to 30% maximum. If you start to measure that, eventually you might find out that your team is spending 55, 60% of roadmap. And you ask yourself, but we are working hard, so what the heck was the results? And this was the masterpiece. So basically, I know it looks complicated, but I was able, for example, my role as a VP of Engineering and Muse, I was guaranteeing that my teams deliver 80% plus of the roadmap each and every quarter, which is, again, pretty bold statement. And how to make that work, or how to basically measure that, is that I provided transparently the big number throughout the whole company, saying how far we are. It's not in terms of the outcomes, in terms of the outputs, meaning, how many of the epics we have completed for the given initiatives. But this was pretty strong report because all of a sudden people stopped asking questions where we are, what's the status updates, where we stand, and so on and so forth. Practically speaking, you can see that as a list of key results. These key results are mapped to some of the initiatives, and the initiatives are then spread to physical increments, meaning epics. Right? And again, note that there are no tasks. I don't care about the tasks. I trust the teams. So we had this one. And last thing, I'm not sure how much time I have left. Maybe I'm going slightly over. 10 minutes, which is still fair. There are still some of the things I want to share with you. We are not over yet. There is more we can do in practice without reading those smart books. So again, being more specific, what we introduced, for example, is called a Sprint Zero. I was sort of bored after seeing that after a third iteration of the OKRs of all the quarters, basically. The teams started with some sort of a bit chaotic way. So I was telling them, just stop the development for the very first sprint, at least for a week. And instead of doing the development, build your strategy, build your ammunition. How it turned out is that it made us sure that all the teams have thought quite well through what are the initiatives and how to slice them down to specific 1 month duration epics. That's already pretty strong predictability that things will go as expected. The second thing, I was asking them to check their capacity. Given the fact that I knew how many of these monthly epics they have accomplished in the last 3 months, it's a very Spartan, stupid calculation having the projection when you ask them, give me the representation of how many epics you plan to spread it to for the next quarter. And again, we didn't go to tasks, to story points or whatever, to estimate a quarter in story points is a silly game, basically. The third element of the Sprint Zero was, and that was pretty strong, I called it backlog refocus. Basically, what I was trying to say is that I don't want my teams to keep working all the old OKRs. And again, you might experience that as well. You have the new set of goals, but still you have to keep working on the old ones and to fix some things and so on and so forth. If there is really need to do so, again, we have the principle of transparency. Then make it transparent. Make sure that it's visible on your roadmap, that it's included in your capacity predictions, and that's pretty helpful. Don't do the hide and seek game. The celebrating success stuff. Indeed, I'm one of the guys who was sort of forgetting about this one, because we all know it, right? There is a new quarter or new whatever half year, new goals, new set of goals. There is no time to celebrate success, no time to rest, to rest for a while. Of course, the companies provide plenty of, I don't know, outings and so on and so forth, but I would say that's not enough. We should be celebrating things constantly. And again, great help of that is to provide some sort of a designated budget for that, to ask the teams, please, each and every time you release a successful topic, go having a beer, go motorkarting, go to some exit games, there's a go to some pool or sauna. I don't really care. I want to see that money being spent. We tried it throughout the whole company. The funny thing is that the sales guys have spent the budget in 2 weeks. What a surprise. Well, I really had to push physically my engineering teams to do some spending there. So that was a funny side of things. The third thing is think of what we put in the system. I think we talked about it already. When I come into a company, they're usually telling me, fix the developers, fix the development system. And usually what we came up to is that, but first of all, we need to fix what's entering the system. We need to make sure that there is a focus and there is the right valuation and opportunity assessment of things that we are supposed to be working on, that people are not telling us what to do, that we are asked to come up with the proposal, what we are, or how we think to be most contributional towards the goal and the mission of the company. Last but not least, the synergies over systems. That's something that I learned, again, at Innovatrix. which is I was sort of obsessed. I'm a mathematician coming from maths as well, the Prague one. And I thought that the system will save the world. And I thought that, my knowledge of agility and Scrum and Kanban will basically make sure that I will boost the environment. But then I started to understand the empathy side of things, meaning, of course, you can boost the teams by, let's say, dozens of percent, meaning from 50 to 80% efficiency rate of the teams, making them highly performing. But there is more. There is more. There is more. You remember this AI picture that you can be high performing when you look at it in just 30 seconds, right? And that element is synergies, basically. If you create the right synergies, the chemistry between the team lead, the engineering manager, and the product manager, for example, all of a sudden that very team will boost its efficiency by, I would say, 200, 300%. And that's something that any system can't compete with, basically. So not all the time the system is the one thing to go that will save everything from what we do. This is the link to the deck, of course. You can have it. I'm sure that we will share it anyway. And I was going to ask you to stand in this picture physically to stand up, but I know that we are short on time to make sure that it works. So thanks again. I really hope that this experience, this physical experience, was really helpful to you. And if you remember just a couple of points that you can think of this evening, and you talk about those either tomorrow or next week with your boss at your one-to-one, that's something that will really make me proud of. So thanks to you all, and I hope to see you at the networking right after the party. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very nice and not so short talk. We happen to have questions. Not sure amount of them, so let me open them up in here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to ask a question, now is a good time. Go to Slido, input Techfellows, and either ask or upload the questions you would like to see answered, and we'll probably take a couple of them. So let's start with the very first one. I think it's sort of tries to get back to the thing that you mentioned, that from the roadmap, it's on the team to pick stuff that they end up working on. I'm not sure if I'm like not rephrasing your sort of statement wrong, but like the question asked, so what if the team decides to create those stuff that sort of has minimal business impact? Meaning, no dollars effectively, doesn't that put your company at risk, your business at risk? Can you sustain that?
Well, again, to me, it comes back to the two points that are coming to my mind. The first is that we can refer back to the product strategy, and basically we should be always following the strategy, making sure that we contribute in the most meaningful way towards our outcomes. But at the same time, we might be having a very specific example in our minds, which is considering the difference between the product and the technical roadmap, because still we need to work, for example, on some technical debt or technological improvements. And usually what I see is that there is no time for this sort of technological things. So one of the things that we've been using is that we sort of close the contract before starting of each quarter throughout the whole company. Of how much time or how much of the allocation my teams will be working on the product roadmap, on the technical piece of the roadmap, and off roadmap. So it might be 60, 20, 20 or whatever, but this made me sure that my teams will have the right allocation, that there will be no surprise that if the teams want to work on the technical side of things. So I hope that I covered this question.
Awesome, thank you. Another question, I believe there are a couple more of these in the Q&A was around these. What was the RMC again? What was your
that was the roadmap contribution.
Right, and the roadmap contribution.
Towards what type of roadmap you mean? How many months are you evaluating? Is it 100% achievable? Okay, so what I was trying to say about roadmap contribution is that, again, imagine the situation of just making sure that your teams are working on the stuff that matter the most, right? So meaning there might be some of the tasks coming to your sprints or to your Kanban, and these tasks are lie down under the umbrella of epics, and these epics should be tied to some of the OKRs, meaning being part of the roadmap. And I just wanted to make, throughout measuring this piece, I just wanted to make sure that we work on things that matter the most. So that's what roadmap contribution is. I was measuring that, by the way, not upon the number of tasks. I was measuring about on the sum of cycle time, meaning how long these tasks are in progress. So that's one of the details. And is it 100% achievable? Again, as I was saying, the roadmap contribution. To me, the goal was having that around 80%, right? So usually what you see is that your teams are working off roadmap, and you want to fix that, and this off roadmap piece might be even bigger, meaning plus 50% sometimes than what you want to wish.
Awesome, thank you. And the time we are currently, let's take one last time, one last question, which is, well, what would be the first initiatives if you came as a new PM to a team, saying that the team would be low performing and it wouldn't want to manage?
Okay, so new PM, the team is low performing, overwhelmed by the previous PM. So to me, that's a clear signal that that product manager or the product owner is focused on tasks. That's it. So instead of making sure that instead of being focused on tasks only and on those balance charts and the throughputs, make sure that ask that PM to build the right level of epics, the right level of initiatives, and ask them how to build the right discovery and the backlog that we are supposed to work on for the next quarter, for example. So make sure that make sure that the PM is focused on the strategy, not tasks. That's my answer.
Awesome, thank you. And many more questions we could take, but sadly we have two more speakers before we get to beer and pizza. So once again, please round of applause for Marian. For that. So you can certainly still ask, and please don't leave Slido because we have another part of the quiz. And by this time, I hope all of you should be already in, or in some sense in. Rubo, can you confirm that, or do we? I hope so. Okay, feel free to get in. And the question we'll be asking is, all right, in 82, the Lisa team decided to measure number of lines of code the developer contributed per week. I think it was. What is the number that the most important developer reported? Tell me. Nice. I guess quite a few of us know the story. It was indeed, I believe. I'm not sure what his name was, but the number was really minus 2,000. The legend goes that it was the last time they tried to do this sort of report, as it wasn't all that useful. Let's take a look at what it looks like in the leaderboard. Camille gets 2 out of 2 correct, so it's very close to getting some swag. Don't you worry, there are 3 more questions, so that's gonna come. That's gonna come later. But in the meantime, please join me in welcoming Matej. I believe will talk to us about these things, but from the perspective of the nitty gritty, the trenches. Matej, the floor is yours.
Hello, hello. Okay, so my name is Matej Jellus. I'm a CTO in Kontentino. If you don't know Kontentino, we are a social media management tool. Okay. Yeah, we are a social media management tool. You can plan posts to a lot of social media platforms through us, plan them, publish them, even collaborate with another teams like designers and other marketing teams as well. And yeah, I want to start with the question: what do you understand by high-performing teams? Any answers? So I asked this question to my friends, my former colleagues, that included like team leaders, project managers, product owners, and these are the keywords that they sent me in the response. As you can see, there are really a lot of keywords, and everyone responded with totally different thing. For everyone, something different was very important when they heard high performing teams. So it is a really wide topic, and this is my experience. I split it into three parts. First part is technical debt. Anyone has experience with tech debt in the company, and that it slows your team down? I think yes. I think that everyone had this problem, at least in some company. I worked once in a company, and my little fix caused a downtime, and the product that was used by thousands of people around Slovakia was down for a couple of minutes until we fixed my fix. So great work from my side. And in the team, in this company where the technical debt was really huge, we had a company event that started with all the team members saying who they are, and almost everyone in the team was there like for weeks or for months. And you definitely cannot create a high performing team with people that are there for a couple of weeks, because they don't know the code base, they don't know the product, and they need some time to get into it. Maybe you know my last point, the broken window theory. It is some researchers from Stanford created an experiment with two cars without license plate. They put one car in the streets of Bronx, and within 10 minutes the car was totally destroyed. They put another car to, I think it was Palo Alto, and the car was okay for 1 week. Then the researchers came back, and they smashed the car a little bit, and in a couple of hours the car was again totally destroyed. The same theory is applied or can be applied also on the code. If your code base is really messy, then you cannot expect your developers to do a great job and to produce a high quality code. It's just not possible. And the solution here, when I came to Kontentino, one of the first things that we agreed on with the team was that from now on we will produce a good quality code, if we can, and or as good quality as is possible. What happened before this agreement? When you checked the pull request to our code base, there was like, I saw it, you can merge it. That's all. After this agreement, comments started to pop out, like, you can improve this one, you can do this better, and the team started to collaborate more. They started to communicate and started to make the code base even better than it could be. My second point is when we have some new features or some new big module that should go out, we start to talk about it and discuss it. Maybe sometimes even deeper than we should, like class names and patterns that we will use. And again, this improves our teamwork and relationships in the teams very hugely. And when I see the team that is collaborating over these features this much, I can trust the team and I can trust the resulting work. Last point is very tricky. I discussed about this point with a couple of mentors. I discussed this point with a couple of other CTOs. What are they doing to prevent technical debt or to fix it? And most of the times we agreed on 20% rule. This means that 20% of the development time is dedicated to technical debt. You have to reserve this 20% during the planning. So we'll say your project managers, like 20% of the next sprint is dedicated to technical debt. The guys will create tasks for themselves, and we will prioritize them. Here you can, of course, tweak it a little bit. Like if there is some feature that really needs to go out as soon as possible, then of course you're not giving them 20%. but you will plan 100% of the dev team time for feature development, and in maybe 2 or 3 sprints, you will give them 40% of their time to fix the technical debt. Second part is about architecture. Maybe you know this term spaghetti with meatballs. This is something that I can see a lot in many of my projects and many projects that I was working on. It's not unusual that it is one big something, some code base, and it mostly runs on one server, and you cannot really scale this server other way than vertically, meaning you can add there more RAM, you can add there more CPU, but you cannot run it on multiple servers, let's say, because the application is not able to actually do it. Then you can have your front end and backend separated. That is really good. But the backend part and the API is a total mess. There are a bunch of routes that return some data, but you have to call multiple endpoints to actually get something meaningful. That is really wrong. And last point, for example, in our company, we are using Facebook package to communicate with Facebook API, and the problem is that the main purpose of Kontentino is to publish some posts to Facebook, let's say. And we have also a module to load data analytics from the Facebook back. So how many people view your posts, how many people commented, and so on. And last part in Kontentino is you can send messages to Facebook users, and also receive the messages back. And when we wanted to, let's say, upgrade this package or use a newer version of Facebook API, we were not able to do it because it's somewhere there, and we really don't know if we can update it for publishing, but it won't destroy the messaging part, or it won't destroy the analytics part. So this was really hard to decide what to do next, because it can break a lot of things. Again, what you can do with it? We started to discuss this a lot in the team. You can see here, here's our wall in the office, and all these discussions lead to a very clear vision where we want to be in the near future and in the far future. And yeah, what I wanted to say. When we did first few tasks that we wanted, or first few changes that we wanted to do with from this vision, guys started to be really motivated, and they started to look forward. What is the next thing that we will fix from the project, and that will be according to this new shared vision. Because we are social media management tool, and we need to publish these posts on a daily basis. We discussed that probably it will be good to do something with actually publishing posts to Facebook, and we decided that the best approach will be microservice architecture for this specific thing. It doesn't mean that the whole project has to use microservices, but this part is really a good example when to use it. What happened here is that guys started to learn new things. They started to read a lot about microservices, how they should communicate. They can use queues to communicate. They can use HTTP requests or gRPC requests, and so on. And after we did this change, they are fully owners of this project, and they are fully responsible for the whole publishing thing. And my last point, use cloud-based services. You can use, for example, AWS, Azure, or Google, or something else to freshen your tech stack. They have a lot of tools that can help you implement new feature really fast. In our case, it was a user can upload a video to Kontentino, and then to make it playable back in the browser, we are using AWS Media Convert service. So we'll convert every video to MP4 file, and the user can view it in the browser. We are also using some other services as well, like sending emails through AWS, queues there, and much more services. So it can make some of your development really easy and fast. And my last point is about DevOps. I met with this situation many times that I came to a project where no automation was, and there was mainly one developer responsible for everything. Like if you want to deploy some new version to production, there is just one guy that can do it. He is responsible, and only he has access to production servers. This is a huge problem, because you want to deploy something and he has vacation. Yeah, you can't deploy it because you need to wait for this guy. Then problems with logs, that they are not readable, or they are not available for everyone. Let's say you have customer support managers that are communicating with your clients daily, and some client will find a bug in your application. They will write to these customer support and say, okay, we have this and this issue. Then the customer support will decide, maybe with project managers or product managers, if it is a low priority bug or a high priority bug. But in both cases, it will probably involve some development work, and developers definitely need to know what went on at the time when the bug occurred, so they should have some logs available. And last point from here is performance problems and system monitoring. This happened to us, or there are situations that just happen, and there are situations that you can predict. In our case, this was about one downtime when we were down for a couple of minutes. Everyone in the team started to investigate what's going on, why we are down, why the server is not responding. And the issue was very simple. The disk was full. Yeah, fun thing, but no one actually give us the information that this is going to happen, and yeah, clients were not happy. Solutions for this one: you can create your first CI/CD pipelines to make it easier to release a new version of your product, of your software. This can be done by anyone from the dev team who has permissions to do such a thing. And this is a very good place where you can put your tools like lint or static code analysis. You can check the code complexity there, and of course you can run automated tests right here in the CI/CD pipelines. These can be then written by either developers when it is some kind of unit tests or integration tests, or it can be written by the testers in the team. Then you can have centralized logs and use tools like Kibana or Grafana and make it accessible to all members in the team, and of course outside of the team, because then you can give these logs to customer support. And when someone is writing them, like something is not really working for me in the product, the customer support then can check the logs in the tool, on the centralized place, and say, okay, I see that you are trying to do something that is not allowed here. So they can solve it with the customer without even bothering your dev team. And last point for my presentation is proper alerting system. This is about the downtime with the full disk. Now I think someone called me 3 weeks ago that actually your disk is 99% full. So I was like, yay, great, because I know it right before the downtime. So we were able to clean the disk and without any downtime caused to the system. But when you see that something is going on and your disk is still more and more full, then you know, okay, my application is doing something wrong, and I need to check where we are creating unnecessary files and fix it before anything happens. And when you combine all these points I wrote here, you can have a team that is not bothered by customer support that much, that is really motivated, that collaborates more, communicates more in the team, and yeah, therefore you can have a high performance team from the technical point of view. Thank you. I think this is all.
Stay in, and the clicker. We still have some. We also got some question, and thank you for the presentation again. I guess let's try to once again, ladies and gentlemen. Should you have any questions, now is a good time to either type them in the slider or upload the existing ones. So let's take them. Let's take them in the order that they appeared, or like that they are being lagged as. Do you think it's better to try sort of learn new approaches and I guess apply them, or is it better to try sort of to clean up the existing architecture as in fix bugs in it? I guess the idea is that you are in a rut, like nothing works. So like which of these would be better from your perspective?
So I start with an answer from Stack Overflow. It depends, as always. With we have a very specific case with this Facebook publishing module in Kontentino that was really good example to use microservice architecture. So there it makes sense for us to make something that is new, that doesn't use any existing code, and we build it from scratch. But there are parts of the application that we would never try to touch, and we would rather clean them up. And of course, when you are building something from scratch again, you will definitely miss some part of the application that was already fixed a couple of times. And yeah, so it really depends what kind of problems you have there.
Because the academic in me can only agree. Let's do a couple of rapid fire questions. So, as a CDO, are you also responsible for DevOps, or would it be a different part of the organization?
When I came to the company, there were just a couple of developers, and I was the one responsible for DevOps. But currently, we are trying to change this, and we started collaboration with Labyrinth Labs. So hopefully, this will be their work from now on.
Cool. Let's try one quick follow up. What's the size of your dev teams, if you can comment on that?
It's 12 people.
All right, awesome. And I guess let's try one last question in here. How do you keep the sort of high-performing teams at peak performance the longest possible? How do you sustain high performance?
I agree with Marian that if you give them place where they can learn new things, try new things, and so they will just stay with you and they will be motivated, like I said on my slides before.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the presentation. And again, once again, let's give a round of applause, please. And you can certainly reach out to him with your questions again. And let's see inside another quick question real quick. I hope you're all in, because the next question is, okay, the first block in human block tracer was Microsoft has the majority market share. How long will it take to close this one? It must be easy, right? Very cool. So about half, well, more than half of the things, it was 9 years, and it ended up being correct. I guess it might have happened as they migrated from Bugzilla or something. Right, awesome. So as the last presenter, and then the pizza and beer will come. We have Luba, who will tell us a bit more about not what to do, but what not to do if what you want are high performing things teams. I'm sorry, Lumo, the floor is yours, and so is the clicker. Here you go.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Marek. So I will give you 11 stories. So that's what I prepared. And as I said, it will be about real stories about the teams I was working on during my career. So let's see what I prepared. And I played a little bit also OpenAI, so you will see some funny pictures that are, at least I hope they are funny. So first team, no product vision, no product strategy, no hands-on product management. So this team really operates in a haze, in a fog. So they work like factory. They, how to say, when they create the roadmap, it was not a roadmap. It was just patchwork of dreams and I don't know, political forces and I don't know what it was here and there. They basically did some gamble. So they tried something, they tried to do here and there, but without any vision, without any umbrella, without any thinking about it. And what really helped this team was implement correct product management or real product management to think about the product vision, to think about the product strategy, which help them to create a roadmap which makes sense. So sometimes it sounds, yeah, vision, mission, it sounds sometimes sounds stupid for the developers, but for this team, this was the key, how to unlock the performance for them. Second team, no user research, no idea to experiments, no knowledge about customers' problems. So problem here was that this team was very well isolated from problems of the customers. So there were centralized product management, there were centralized project management, how we call it, and there was a very big wall between the team and problems of customers. So they didn't build, let's say, context or domain of the problem they should solve. And what helped them to unlock, let's say, better performance was to invite product manager, designer, user researcher into the team and really work together. And when engineers find out what are problems to solve, they are able to, let's say, bring on the table solution which were better. So, and this was, let's say, key how this team was able to perform a little bit better, or let's say way better, not just a little bit better. The next one, no frequent releases, no user feedback, no validated learning, and no tweaking. So what was problem here? This was very typical Scrum-Flow team. So they planned 1 year into the future. So they simulate agile by this Scrum-Flow. So they did sprint, yes, but usually they have 1,000 tasks in the backlog. They took, I don't know, 50 from the top, and they continue each 2 weeks like this. So they emulate agile because everybody is agile, of course, but they didn't have any feedback from customer. So after a few months, they feel, okay, guys, what we are doing here, will somebody use it? And without feedback, there is fear. I call it feedback because you are worried to look, okay, we did something, but who will use it? It is good or not? And what was important here, they decided, okay, we have to change it. So we have to do at least release 1 a month or after each sprint. I mean, you have to deal with the customers. Okay, we will show you it. We will do some demo at least that we have this feedback because otherwise it's crazy to continue like this. But the problem is they realized that they didn't have CI/CD prepared for this. So they have to invest significant time to change the way they did the release because At the beginning, it was very manual. It was not automatized because they didn't need it, but so they have to invest in the CI/CD pipeline and then discuss with the customer about this feedback loop. And this was the way how they unlock, let's say, the potential for the better performance of this team. Team number 4, no focus on outcome, no measurement of delivered value, and no tangible results. Yeah, this is kind of sad story because this team was really good. They were very good developers. Maybe they were top developers in the company. So they were celebrated, yeah, the team. They are top players. But they optimized for outcome. They were hustlers. They fixed most bugs. They did most number of tasks and so on and so on. So you probably can envision what kind of team, but they judge themselves only according to output. And what was bittersweet, when company started with data revolution, or let's say data democracy. So the when company started to measure also outcomes. So what this team is really, what value is this team is really delivering to the business. It was bittersweet for the team because they realized, okay, we are hustling, but we are punching to the air. So this is not fair. So they felt, okay, this is not fair. But what really, what was the key to unlock the potential for them was to really realize that, yeah, we have to change. We have to measure outcome. We have to measure results and value, and not just talking about how many bugs we fixed last sprint. Yes, so this is very important for them. Team number 5. No remote features, no canceled projects, no failures to retrospect. This was green team. Everything was green, every dashboard was green, every KPI was green, so they did well. Yes, they were good athletes, but when they prepare something, they played very safely. So they remove each rabbit holes, they remove each obstacles, and they live in comfortable zone. So they prepare very good comfortable zone for them, but everything was good, everything was green. And a retrospective, okay, when they did a retrospective, this was about the micro problems. So, okay, guys, we shouldn't eat during the stand-ups, for example. This was the biggest problem. Or how we change our estimation coefficient from 2.5 to 2.4, I don't know. Big problems, yes. Because everything was fine and they were not challenged to be better. And this was the problem. And over the time, they realized if you are not going up, you are going down. And they felt it, and they decided, okay, guys, this doesn't make sense. We are not, we are not growing. So also personally, so we are just comfortable guys, and maybe okay, in 20 years we retired like this, so we have to change something. And they decided, okay, we don't want to be athletes for 100 meters. We want to be parkourists. We want to fight with unknown obstacles. We want to run through the town on stadium. So we want to go outside our comfortable zone. And this was the key for this team, how to unlock better performance, to change this mindset, to risk a little bit more. Yes, they were not only red, not only green dashboards, they did few fuck ups, yes. But I think it was worth. It was worth, it makes sense for them. Team number 6, no connection between team and company. Yeah, this was something. This was something. From nothing, there was the team. Suddenly, somewhere in the company, nobody understands what they are doing, why they are there. It was very secretive. What they delivered it was chaotic. No, they didn't communicate to the others. So it was kind of very experimental. It was experiment of experiment from my point of view. And the question was, why they are they here? Nobody else, probably even this team was not sure why they are there. And what really happened, yeah, started by to answer this question from management. Would help to restructure this team and put them into the organization. This is your place. And ask them, okay, guys, report what to be transparent to the others, start to report every month what are you doing. We know that you are doing also some innovation. Yes, you are doing some experiments, but other guys in the company should know about it. And this really helped. And after, it was a long project, so maybe after half a year, they really bring very interesting innovation onto the company, very interesting product. But this transparency was very important, and also that they they put into the organization everybody somehow understood why they are here. 7, no bottom-up negotiation about roadmaps, deadlines, and key results. This manager of this team was non-technical and yeah, micromanage this team, push this team. And developers were not good in negotiation in this team, so they were always, okay, we will do it. Or if their manager always ask and challenge them, okay, guys, you can do it one day or 1 week. And he always prefers 1 day. Do it quickly, do it dirty, I don't care. And this was how it was. And what was the result? The team was working only, let's call it, low hanging fruits. They never did something big, something interesting, something crazy. And technical demos, yeah, you can imagine. So if you do hack over the hack over the hack, probably your technical dev will be like this. And what helped here? Yeah, it was change on the management side. So technical leader was added to the team between the manager, this manager and the team, who negotiate with this technical leader had time to talk to and explain why the team need to do this, why the team need to also do some technical things, and he didn't sell team cheaply, I would say, because sometimes I feel the developers selling their work cheaply to the leaders, very cheaply, sometimes for free. I feel it that, yeah, we will do it quickly, hacks, and we forget that we are engineers. We have to keep also technical debt in the, let's say, manageable way. We have to do something better than just quick hacks. And this was kind of helpful for this team to unlock the potential and be better team. Yep. Number 8, no inner motivation, no teamwork, no joy from the work, and no craftsmanship. If there was always something in this team, there was always earthquake. It was a very unstable, let's say, environment. War room was open 24/7. There was incidents. Yeah, this was this kind of the team. And therefore also people were shift around into the team, from the team, and there were never time to build really the team, to really build cooperation, to really make something great. And they own nothing. So because they were not team. And again, it's when there was discussion between the speed and quality. It was always about the speed. Just do it quickly, fix it quickly because there is another fire. So this was typical disaster-driven development, DDT, yeah, you know it. And what helps? it was so bad that in some situation it was about, okay, this team will die or we have to do something because it cannot work like this forever. And the idea was, okay, let's stabilize the team. Stop shifting people. Just give them time to build. Just give them 3 months to build, to really be together, to have some team building, to think about the stuff, and implement quality. The quality is something we need as engineers, as a craftsmen, that we need quality in our products, in our code, to feel pride. And this was very helpful for this team. And when we start to build something with the quality, they start to feel also ownership for what they build, and it increase also teamwork, and it really helps and unlock the potential of this team. Number 9, no skin in the game, no high integrity commitments, no missionaries. They were ghosts. They didn't want to feel any pain. They just want to do the job. Okay, I'm here from 9 to 5. 9 to 5. If you want extra mile, please pay extra mile. Yeah, I will not do it. If you ask something which is not in our, let's say, responsibility, either pay for it or we delegate it to another team because we are very quick to find another team who should be responsible for this. Yeah, there were perfect mercenaries. They did it for a coin, which is good, but the management wanted something else. The company top management wanted missionaries. They wanted people who really wants to have skin in the game, who really wants to do the extra mile, and how solution for this team. So what happened? So when top management started to push on, let's say, more missionary way of the work, top 2 mercenaries left. So they changed the team because they said, this is not for us. We don't want to be here. And it started restructuring the team and rehiring. So management decided, okay, we will focus on people with the missionary mindset, with hope that it will somehow transform the team. And they were lucky because something like this happened here. Number 10, one way to go. No authority, no responsibility, and no capability. Yes, this team was very junior. They didn't have skills also on technical side or management side, and they operate in agony. It was total agony because they took some responsibility, but they were not able to respond. Yes, they were not able to respond to the bugs. They were not able to respond to the roadmap. They were not respond to things what happening in the team, and therefore they didn't, let's say, earn authority from the management to do the decisions, and this was a big problem. So what helped here? It was implementation of servant leadership, mentoring, and coaching. So when technical coach and manager and coach for the management came or started to help the team to build the skills, it took half a year. Of course, it was not one night. They were able to take more responsibility, and then they were able to really, really do the decision with high authority. And if you do the decision with some authorities, you also need to have the, let's say, skills and capability to implement those decisions or take consequences if those decisions are not correct. So if you are able to do the decision and you are able to implement or fix it, you gain the authority. So this is how it works. And yes, step by step, it took 1 year. Okay, I will not sell it different way, but it really helped. And last one, 11, no difference between loose shots, roof shots, and random shots. The problem of this team that they wrongly set expectations about the project, what they did. So even, I don't know, the project was go to the Mars or go to the Jelena, they did the same thing, the same planning. Okay, how many story points to Mars? I don't know, 1 million probably. And they report to the stakeholders the same way. They didn't tell him, guys, Mars, this is crazy. I don't know, million years. Don't ask us. No, they follow the process. They were like this. Okay, how many bucks we have on our way to Mars? I don't know, 1,000 millions. So it was kind of, yeah, it sounds a little bit crazy, but sometimes we are doing it. Sometimes we are not setting the right expectation to our stakeholders. And for these teams, this was the key how to unlock the performance to really tell the stakeholder, okay, guys, this is crazy project. We don't know how long it will take. Are you sure you want to invest to this? And so on and so on. So it was about this. And this is the last one. And we are here, I think, to find the keys how to unlock, I believe, the performance or I don't know, potentially in our teams. So please open the Slido phones and choose from these 11 what is your current biggest problem, or what do you think is the biggest symptom or blocker for your team or teams? Yeah, I think it's in Karanina book. There is a quotation that each family is happy the same way, but each unhappy family is unhappy their own way. And I think this is the reason why I give you 11 examples, because I don't think that there is one book, one quick solution, and it's very different for each team. And let's say the solution at the key how to unlock it, it's yeah, it depends on the team. All right. So we are fighting with product management and negotiation. Nice. Let's use this evening and talk about maybe top 3 points with your colleagues or with your friends, and maybe you can put the first one into your Jira as a bug, because it is really bug for your team. So please don't ignore it. And thank you for listening me. I hope the pizza is somewhere, because I'm just only one between you and pizza, which is not the best position. Marek.
Let's come on. Let's give it up for Luke. He's not the only one. It's also me who's in between you and pizza, but we'll go through it real quick. Don't you worry. So we have a couple of questions for you as well. Um, let's do like 3. We have like 6, so let's try like something like this. Like, how do you think the value of a team should be measured or evaluated?
It's connected what this team is doing. So it could be really connected with let's say high company KPIs. So if, because I believe we are in a really top performing team, we can talk about the revenue, for example. How much revenue your team is bringing to the company. It is possible. Even maybe you feel, okay, we are just small team, part of nothing, but it is possible. If you are a high performing team, I strongly believe you can significantly affect the whole company, for example, revenue, or I don't know, in Slido it is, I don't know, number of events or this whole company KPIs. So yeah, and this could be way how to evaluate the team, but it depends, of course, because some teams are not in this position to affecting the, let's say, top KPIs, but at least you can put there some proxy KPIs or something like this. Yeah.
I guess it depends with well, works in general. Let's try another question. What would you suggest to developers who are not very good at negotiations? Like, should they just get a team lead, or I mean, tech lead, and that's it?
It's a skill. So I think you can read a very good book, Never Split the Difference, for example, and try educate yourself how to negotiate better. Uh, but also, this is the solution. What you suggested, that you delegate it to somebody who is better in negotiation. But in general, it's good skill, because maybe you will negotiate also a better salary or something else, or I don't know, tickets to some concerts, some discounts in, I don't know, in some shops. So maybe it could be good to ask for mentor or do some training about this. It's not rocket science, and yeah, I think it is doable, I believe, for any developer, because you are usually your IQ is about 130, so you should be able to do it.
And join it means in the process. Okay. Let's do but like rapid fire way. Are there any sort of is there any difference between building high performing teams at a smaller company like Slido and a big corporate like Cisco? 3 sentences most.
Yeah, definitely. There is a big difference, because the way how we are evaluated is very different, and yes, definitely it's not the same game. Maybe not the same sport.
And Luma will happily tell you more about that later on offline. One last question. Is there a way of saying if someone would be a missionary or a mercenary at interview time? Like when they sort of, when they haven't really joined, but you haven't like seen them work yet?
Yeah, probably yes. You should be able to detect it, because when people are mercenaries, they are not hiding it usually. So they are very clear about what they want, how they want to work, and yeah. Also, always you can try this coffee test. I learned last week that one manager is doing coffee test. So during the interview, he left his coffee on the table and wait if, for example, candidate put it into the back into the kitchen, to the, let's say, for the cleaning and something like this. So you can see if people are caring or not. I don't know, maybe this is stupid test. I just telling you for the fun, but I believe that you can detect it.
All right, cool. Well, Luda, thank you very much again. Round of applause for Luda. And now for the very last thing that's in between you and Peso Beer, that's to finish up this quiz. So I have 2 more questions for you. Get your sliders ready, because the next question will come real soon. So when Windows 2000 was released, how many potential bugs were sort of automatically identified in it? Basically, gives a number. It starts with 6 and 3. I was told. Awesome. So we have some sort of a binomial distribution in here, and within 6,363, 63,000, and it ended up being 63,000. And we'll tell you much more about that. I believe they sort of closed up half of them straight up because it was false positives or something like that. Okay. And the very last question: which country does the IO domain belong to? And I guess I guess this is this will be difficult. Cool. Well, the votes are in, and we have a difficult situation in here where many of you would say that it's well, there's no country, it's a commercial domain, and some of you would say particularly in ocean territory, and then there is something in between Barbados and Indonesia. Turns out we would say it's actually British Indian Ocean territory, and that's the sort of that is where it started from. But the reality is, right now it is actually well, kind of ran, or you register your IO domain with a commercial entity that's running it. The British Indian Ocean territory has very few inhabitants, not to mention companies, so that will be rather difficult. In any case, I hope you enjoy the quiz. Let's take a look at what the leaderboard looks like. Come on, not now. Cool, and so let's give it up for Matej, Peter, and Steva, age 6 or something like that. As a pretty base coming in front, you will be given a bit of Techfellows swag. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that really is the last thing was the last thing that was between us and pizza, and which I saw coming right in, and beer. So on behalf of the organizers and Techfellows, I would like to thank you very much for coming. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned new things, and I hope you will continue with the discussions in the networking part afterwards. And I hope we'll see each other in some future meetup maybe. Thanks again.